You in afternoon, evening, wherever you are around the world. And of course, welcome to the Crypto Night Show, your host, Superman, in the house. Now, some of the things we've been looking at is, of course, the crypto market in the weekend. And I hope you guys are having a good weekend out there. We're also going to be looking at Pulsechain and TitanX, of course. And we're going to look at PDai. Is it PDai the ultimate conspiracy coin on Pulsechain? Seems like it. There's more theories out there and quasi evidence than you can imagine, which is a crazy place to be. Obviously, Richard's kind of stamped his foot down on it. So, but the community, different parts of the community keep going. Some for it, some against it, and the market is speaking to us to some degree. So we're going to talk about that too. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Don't forget to get into the comments there and say hello. And of course, if you're on Rumble, don't forget to follow as well. Really enjoying Rumble over there and getting some good communication. So get on that too. All right, so without further ado, let's get into the markets and have a look at where the crypto is. But before we do that, we've got Hexcavator jumped in there nice and early. Hey gang, good to see Hexcavator. Big shout out to you. And good news. Look at this. Bitcoin. It just hit 85,000 just as we're going live. And it's up 0.5%, which is pretty cool. The dominance of Bitcoin is 59.35%. So it's still staying up in that strong range. We've got Ethereum there at $2,007. Good news again. That's just gone over 2,000. So that's great. That's up 1.7%. And it always seems weird seeing Ethereum below 2,000. It's kind of weird. We've got BNB at the moment, $635, down 30%. Solana up 1.25%, $130. ADA pretty up just slightly there, 71 cents. Tron up 2.5% at 24 cents. We got Litecoin at the moment is up 0.8%, $92.60. You can see Suchain is up 1.6%, is $2.28. So we've got a few movers there, but the XRP is down 0.25% at $2.38. So that's kind of where the majors are at the moment. So, but generally, sort of flat, but slightly to the upside is where the market is at. Excuse me, at the moment. So Bitcoin at 85K, not too bad. Now looking at some bubbles, I thought I'd bring some bubbles in today. Crypto bubbles, everyone likes the bubbles. And we can see at the moment we've got CRV up 11.3%, it says, and IMEX there as well, up 12.5%. Plith is up 6.7%, Atom up 6.5%. So we've got a few sort of bigger ones there. And in terms of down coins, we actually see Hex is on there, actually, negative 3%. Dexy and Jasmy also down, and Dot also, and EOS as well. So there we go. That's some bubbles. That's on the daily. On the weekly, let's have a look at the weekly. Well, we've got Cake up there, almost 48%. That's not too bad. Bonk and Carver, CRV, are doing pretty good. Unfortunately, Trump is down, Hex is down, and Jasmy's down, and so is Pi Network, which we're probably going to talk about quickly as well. And let's jump over to the month. What's the month here? Well, all pretty negative for the last month. Not surprising with that, is it? And we can see Hex is down 40% there. ETH is down 27%. So, not too good around the general market. We see that Pi is still up 18% on a monthly basis, but struggling recently. All right, let's jump over to. Should we go to the year? Let's do the year since we're there. We're going to do the year as well. Looks like we've got OM up 973%. So there's a nice. Was that 10x there? And BGB, I haven't heard of that one before, but it's up 411%. GT up 234% on this index of coins. XRP up 287%, and Tron up 103 over the last year. There we go. But let's have a look at the index on CoinGecko. We can see market cap 2.85 trillion, down 2.1%, despite Bitcoin being up slightly. Although I must say, this price chart is different from the other one we were looking. It says Bitcoin is 85. This here shows Bitcoin at 84,000. So I'm not sure. Maybe the other site's not working properly. I'll have to go with CoinGecko on this one. We've got Ethereum, though, at 1984. So it's not too bad, far behind the other chart. And let's have a look at XRP, $2.36, BNB, $6.27, Solana, $1.27, Cardano, 70 cents, Dogecoin at 16.7, Tron at just under 24 cents. They're our top 10. Now we're going to look down a bit further because we're going to go hunt. The Pi Network. Pi Network at number 25 at the moment is trying to hold on to dollar, and there's a lot of negativity in the Pi community. There's a little bit of hope there. I think the last 24 hours, but definitely down 31% for the week. Now, Pi Network, as you guys know, has this ridiculous KYC. It's not real crypto, right? So let's be frank about that. It's not beat around the bush, but it is a huge network mining Pi on the phone. Although the rate now is pretty damn low, so once you run a very low rate there. That being said, I think there's only about 1.7 billion coins running around, as opposed to 100 million, with most of the coins still locked, right? So we'll see what happens there. They're obviously building out their marketplace, their business marketplace as well. Got Pi domain names as well out at the moment. They got Pi Fest, I think, still going. So we'll see what happens in the Pi network there. But they really need a big exchange. Binance is a question mark. There's pros and cons. People saying yes, people saying no, and of course maybe Coinbase will be the savior of Pi network in terms of volume. It does have a lot of volume, so it would make sense for an exchange to take it, even if it's not native to Binance, for example, because it's its own chain. It would take if they want to capture the volume, which is commercial sense, right? They're likely to pick that up, especially with the huge network there. That being said, a lot of the people that are mining Pi on there are probably in developing countries, third world countries, and so it's not high value for trading. So we'll see how that goes. There are quite a few Americans and other stuff that are in the Pi network that have done pretty well. So we'll see how that all lands. We'll see all that lands there. All right, so let's jump over to let's do the best performers in the last 24 hours on the top 100. And we can see Immutable X is up, they're doing pretty well. Cosmos, tokenized exchange, and we have even Pi Network managed to make it number 4, and Lido there, number 5 there at 3.2%. That's top 5. Last 7 days in the top 100, looks like we had tokenized exchange up 17.8%, OKB up 11%, Bonk up 10%, and Hyperliquid up 8%, and Uniswap up 7%. So that's the top 5 of last week. So it's kind of your end of week results almost. There we go. All right, let's see where we're going here. We're going to go to Bitcoin, have a look at the chart. Now, as you guys know, we're really trying to avoid this death cross that's coming, because we've got the 50-day moving average in yellow, 200-day moving average in orange. Currently, the 200 days at 85,658, and the 50-day is at 89,200. So hopefully we're going to avoid that. We need some uplift in the price moving ahead. That's pretty much it. And at the moment, we're just sitting just below that 200-day moving average. Well, actually, it's 197 days. I'm not sure how I put it in 197 days, but let's change that because it's brand new. I just did this today. So let's just get that looking right there. All right, so that would put the 200-day at 85,658. So not much difference. That is where we are at the moment on the old Bitcoin. And of course, as you guys know, I'm feeling pretty bullish about Bitcoin moving ahead into April. So February didn't work out because Trump came in, the special event. So we have to take into account a special event. And of course, Trump with the tariffs there shook things up, right? So that's just the way it is. You have to adapt, and therefore it defers our projection of a Bitcoin run and an altcoin season past April now, right? So fair enough, all good. And don't forget to get into the chat there as well. Get there lively. So that brings us on to Pulsechain. You guys ready to talk about Pulsechain? Let's do it. So Pulsechain at the moment, day 680. We've got Pulse down. Now this is a bargain, man. So when you ever have these kind of PDai dramas, the leakage out of the network, things like that, it's typically an opportunity to pick up really low prices, and then you laugh later on, right? You just got to be patient, laugh later on. Still got to pick the right ones, but apart from that, it's going to be hilarious. Now, Richard obviously put the focus, said, stop buying PDai. And pretty much buy Richard Hart coins, pretty much. And what did the market do? Well, once they talk about the leakage, the market dumped the Richard Hart coins. And despite him doing that, also the narrative, of course, that he was dumping PDai into Pulsex, into even into some of the pump tire tokens. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that all plays out. But at the moment, it's a pretty damn good price. So we've got 29% of the mean sacrifice price at the moment. Quadruple 0286 is Pulse, down 14.4%. Pulse X at the moment, Quadruple 0256, down 12.4%. And we've got the buy and burn sitting at 1,327 billion. Pulse X has been bought up and burned. Pretty cool. I'm not sure what's happened to this percentage here, actually. It's changed. Not sure what's going on there. Maybe because I've reset this on another chart. Maybe that's the I've got this on this because I've got a new table here. This might be overall, so I have to check out what that is. But we got incentive token $1.50, down 16.6%, 52,500 polls per one incentive token, and we got about 55 million tokens apparently in existence. And of course, the inflation is down by 20x. So one of the big signals from Richard is that the inflation's been cut on the Pulsechain farms in terms of the incentive reward, down 20x, and therefore we saw quite a large flight of capital. I think somewhere from I just got to remember now, somewhere like 300. We have 300 and something million in there, I think it was, or 240 million. Yeah, got to double check that, but we're down about 40 million, so it's down quite significant from there. And I haven't checked the values today, but it's definitely down a lot there. Which means that you got small liquidity pools, and therefore the price can move up and down much easier, and that's what we've been saying, right? The other thing, of course, the inflation is lower, so that means incentive token is ultimately scarcer. And of course, if we do see any particular third-party protocols or Richard Hart protocols coming in to eat up some of this or sink some of this ink or something, that could be hyper bullish, right? So that's kind of what we're banking on there. Hex there is at 7/10 of a penny, down 14%. EHEX at 1800ths of a penny. Combined price of EHEX and PX is at 9/10 of a penny. So pretty awesome prices to enter at the moment if you got a bit of patience. Not bad at all. We can see the popular coins at the moment. We've got Soil, Tetra, Time. They're doing pretty well. Axis was doing pretty well as well. So they're doing not too bad there. Now, we haven't seen a lot from Tetra. We're still waiting for quite a few things, Web3 technology and stuff like that. So I'm not sure what's happened there. I think they're also involved in the Signum Oracle as well to some degree, I think. So that's also the case there. Wrapped there. Let me jump through the bridge. I think the bridge was quite slow yesterday. Let me know in the chat there if you experienced that. Let's see here. So we've got meme coins there. Let's jump down here a bit as well. Now, obviously, all these fork coins have been a lot of the big drama with the fallout of PDai. We can see PDai is still down 37%, but people are still trading it. And it really seems like Somi is the one leading that charge there, rallying the troops. And he's a big enough influencer, right, to potentially move markets. There's only a couple in Pulsechain that could possibly do that. Moon King, Somi, obviously Richard Hart, and maybe to some degree, some influencers that are out there. There's probably 3 or 4 other influencers out there that could move markets, but they don't get involved in that kind of discussion. So we're talking about the KDPs, the crypto copies, possibly even Dipcatcher, people like that. Quite sizable influencers out there. So we got PDai at the moment down 37%, and pretty much a lot of the fork coins pretty much down, right? Now, the only exception out of here, so people didn't have to say, what am I hunting? What's good? And I put a post out on X about what I thought might be good. Hey, good to see Blair in the chat there. Hi, all. Good to see you, Blair. Out of this list of the fork coins, in my view, the wrap Bitcoin is the one that looks kind of pretty good. So this year, I think predominantly Pulse is the pairing, and it's bounced to $202, but pretty much at the low. So this could be a nice little accumulation, the old wrap Bitcoin. Because if you look at the daily, and as long as it's paired with Pulse, right, then you're sitting, it was previously up as high as $2,000. So a 10x, you're getting it for 10%. And if you're patient enough, we're still expecting wrap Bitcoin to do very well, right? With the narrative, as soon as wrap Bitcoin or Bitcoin starts rallying up to 150, 250, and then the wrap Bitcoin and Pulsechain is probably going to rally as well and potentially go above this 2,000 that we had. Once again, it's a bit of that's, you got to follow the narrative and be patient. That's pretty much it. If you're willing to be patient, and you're talking, maybe, I don't know, it could be 3, 6 months, 9 months, sometime this year, and that's if you're earning a couple percent in the bank, but you're able to make a 10x minimum on here, Bitcoin could be a pretty good play. All right, so that is where we are on the Richard Hart coins. So we're going to go into the gas prices. Obviously, we've had violent gas spikes up to 300 million beats. Currently 7 million, so still kind of elevated. I don't think we'll see 200,000 beats very often. But 1 million, 2 million beats probably where we are at the moment with 7 million beats. We're looking at 7 cents for a Pulsechain swap. That's also making the Mafia game more expensive on Pulsechain. It makes it more similar like BNB to some degree. BNB's, you got to pay like 7-8 cents for a transaction, something like that over on BNB for Play Mafia every transaction. But on Pulse, if you got low Gwei, you're only paying sub 1 penny. But if the way it's been elevated lately, you're paying 3 to 10 cents or something on Pulsechain as well. So it's almost on par with BNB almost. So there we go. We got 48,363 active validators at the moment on the old Pulsechain. So doing pretty well. And we got $92.7 million. So I think that was down from 93.6 yesterday, wasn't it? So we might be down about 900K from there. And quite a bit of that will be part of the EHEX, no doubt. And looks like DAI is pretty stable. So that's pretty good. And looking at the bridge, we're still at a 1.5. So this number's correct here. We're not seeing hyperbleed at the stage. Obviously, accumulated numbers are what count. But in any case, doesn't look like we're seeing major stuff there. And the DAI looks pretty similar to what it has been. So that is where we are on that. Let's go to the volume, $71 million of volume. I guess one of the positives is that we've got a lift in volume. And of course, a lot of that's going through pump tire tokens. So those are tokens that graduate from pump tires and have gone over to Pulsechain. Some of them are, mirror images of some of the normal tokens we see on Pulsechain. But we can see we've got a few players here. So we've got a new entrant here, PDong. Last 13 hours, it's up 1,100%. So PDong there doing pretty well, up 13 hours. So that I'm not sure if that's graduated there from the pump tires. Probably has. It's got little the Vietnamese face on there. That's all part of the conspiracy theory, right? The Vietnamese hacker of PDai. And of course, we saw that little video yesterday with all the, I guess, was what Vietnamese writing on the computer there. And we can see at the moment this PDong is climbing at 00013, having a good time. The 25K liquidity, 176K in volume. Seems to be a popular one there. Now, pump tires, of course, is pretty much the kind of inverted commas the official token for pump tires. That's up 135% as well. So it's 1.25 pennies on this one. So it's doing pretty well. Let's have a quick look at this one on Pulse Pair. And we can see that's kind of been, it's volatile, but it's been slowly climbing there. So we'll see how far that goes on the hourly. Let's have a look at the daily there. Yeah, big pump today. So, take care out there on these big pumps. What else we got there? Most Wanted as well. This is apparently the one Richard Hart was, selling PDai into most. And apparently the Trump, was it the Trump Foundation or something like that? We'll get to that later. Was buying PDai. So we'll talk about that. We got Most Wanted there up 112%, so not too bad. Let's have a look at the price. This is another pump tires token, right? Another big pump there today. We'll see how long this lasts, right? Can it actually, maintain itself? Trump token up as well. These are all pump tire tokens, right? Solana too. And we've got gas there is part of the Finvestor, or most gas that's part of the Finvestor ecosystem. Best everything there, another one. So we've got quite a few of the pump tires here doing pretty dominating at the moment on Pulsechain. SolidX there is up 5%. Now I want to say something about SolidX. Beast is up as well, 5.7%, but that's another Finvestor ecosystem token. SolidX there is up 5.25%. Now SolidX, of course, we've got a couple of whales in Pulsechain, right? One of them is Firewhale, right? Firewhale. Now Firewhale is on the march because he wasn't very happy, obviously, about PDai, and of course he wasn't happy about PDai, but he also is supposed to be bringing some new offerings with SolidX. Remember from Eric from DragonX? We haven't seen that yet, but apparently that's still coming. So we'll see what that's like. But apparently he had quite a lot to say about this. So we've actually got some little updates here. So apparently, the Firewhale, aka SolidX, said, "Hello, dear SolidXkins. My apology for the delay, but I've now pulled all LPs between SolidX and PDai. So PDai, this is one of the strategies, right? So if you're going to, Richard said, stop buying PDai. If you're going to isolate PDai, you've got to, obviously Richard could sell down PDai." Or people that are providing liquidity for PDI can pull the liquidity, but we haven't seen that. We have not seen that. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And then, well, we're not in the big numbers anyway. We're going to also we're also going to talk about, or at least it's getting refilled. Let's put it that way. And the other way, of course, is that all the projects like Atropa, SolidX, and other projects that had webbed their liquidity into PDai, because PDai was the thing, right? Need to decouple from PDai, right? So those are the couple of actions that need to occur on the chain, and we're actually seeing, at least from the LP webbing, so projects that have linked up, we do see an indication that they are trying to decouple from PDai, and this is an update from SolidX, which is pretty cool. The other big one, of course, will be the Tropa dev, James Maria, and that's another side of this. We've got Blair in the house there. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. I love that. And of course, let's get back to Firewall here. So apparently, my apologies for the delay, but I've now pulled the LP between SolidX and PDai. There's very little thin liquidity in some of these LPs set by SX holders or solid hexagons. So I urge you to pull what remains of it as well. So this is, maybe the beginning of what we're going to see. And as what we said, what's the next steps with PDai, right? And I'm going to talk about that because we've got people pulling, following Richard's lead, and then we've got people that are supporting it, right? Which Somni is kind of taking the lead on that. We've got there is still very thin liquidity in some of these LPs, and of course, I wanted to believe this exploiter was an insider instead of a hacker, right? So we know James Maria at the beginning of Pulsechain said he'd check the contracts with PDai, all that stuff. If you've seen those videos, check those out. Not sure if we're going to cover them here. We might do. But James Maria said that if he couldn't exploit it, then there's very few attack vectors, and of course this is apparently what's happened, right? We have got an attack vector that's been exposed. So yeah, we're going to talk about that too. But Richard just tweeted 4 hours ago in a more direct manner. Have always felt like Pulsechain having the first ever fully decentralized stablecoin was best possible feature of this chain, right? So actually, let's pull up PDai while we're looking at it, but we actually got SolidX here. So let me just go to one of the bigger liquidity pools there. We'll go to Pulsex because it's got a pretty big pool there for the SolidX. So that is the price there. Let me go to the weekly chart as well. So as we're talking about Firewall here. So obviously this has been hit quite hard, but let's talk about this. So Firewall says the P copies of Pulsechain are the only innovative feature available on Pulsechain. Everything else is forked or already exists somewhere else. This is the big loss of P copies and a big loss for Richard Hart and his devs not looking deeply enough into the complexities of the MakerDAO protocol. I remind you. So we had Maria and James Maria and probably Richard Hart with his troops there looking through, and of course they don't catch everything from the looks of this. Is what the way the lay of the land seems to be after Richard said, just get out of it. I remind you that PDai has been the best performing asset on Pulsechain, and besides Richard Hart core tokens, it has the one token with more liquidity. And LPs on Pulsechain with the Tropa are playing a big part of this achievement, which ties in, of course, James Maria, the dev there that we're talking about. So if the devs couldn't stop this exploit on the number one most popular and hype P copy of the chain, then I don't think they can stop any future exploits of other P copies which can be minted or have admin keys. Now, that is possibly true. We shall see how that goes, but we're talking essentially about the copy contracts. Talking about Aave and Compound and obviously Maker, things like that is what it's generally referring to there. Not a lot of the other tokens that have no vulnerabilities per se. They're just classic tokens, PRC20s. Now, instead of having the MakerDAO innovative protocol for this community to build up the first decentralized stablecoin, this is where I really want to focus on, because as you guys know, I have really been focusing on PUSD ALGO, and now it turns out that that's a master move, right? The plan switched to having DAI, USD Tether, and USDC coins on pump.ties created by Richard Hart with the standard 1 billion token supply of the Solana memes and no tech behind it. Looks like these 3 tokens created on pump ties are now supposed to be the official RHP stables. And that's what we're seeing to see in the markets, right? So what we saw yesterday, we're still seeing that today. Pump ties dominating there. And it's a little bit disappointing, and I agree with that. I would say a little bit. It's quite a bit disappointing in that sense. But that's because too much capital was going into PDai, right? With the narrative of PDai going to $1, and of course the theory that Richard Hart was potentially behind it, or some other team, and of course looks like an exploiter from Vietnam. Well, at least that's the narrative, right? So this is where the conspiracy comes in. Is all the videos and the pictures of the Vietnamese hacker real? Are they real too? So this goes down the rabbit hole. How far down the rabbit hole do you go, right? I don't think this makes much sense, and I don't like Pump Fun at all. He says I don't like what it represents, and I don't like the pain Pump Fun has created to so many of its users. RH Fork Pump Fun right at the exact timing it is about to die. Another mistake. Having said that, I still believe in RH, and I will keep making. He will keep making mistakes, but he has good intentions. So this is from Firewire there. Now it's time for the whole community to forget about all the pain and FUD that have been going on and take a look at SolidX, because next week our team will be launching the public test of xgame.io. So that's the big move here. We have been waiting for that, right? So xgame here, .io. I'll type that in. We'll bring that over, and this is what's coming up. So this is what we have been expecting. We thought we might get this at the end of the last year, right? Because Eric from TitanX software team's been developing this. So X Game there is coming. Now, obviously, this will be the outside of Jacob's project, because Jacob with the gaming. I mean, there are a few other little games around on Pulsechain, but generally Mafia is dominating big time with the GameFi, and also his crypto casinos. There are a few others, like I say, out there, but this may be the next best rival to the Mafia game in terms of participation. So we'll see how this goes, depending on my understanding. It's called X Game, but I'm understanding it's a kind of a crash game, right? If you've ever played Crash Game on Betfair or something like that, but maybe some form like that. So we'll see how this goes as well. He says we are organizing a stream with me, SJ Wild, Randy, Axis, and Crispy to talk about the PLS 369 conference and about the game as well. So that's coming out next week. So that's good news for Pulsechain. Pulsechain definitely needs some good news along that line. So please stay tuned. I'm working really hard to bring true innovation to Pulsechain with the first ever decentralized affiliate program for its iGaming and decentralized on-game online casino. So I'll be interesting to see what they mean by decentralized on-chain online casino. Now, is that in conjunction with Jacob, for example? Is that what's happening, or are they trying to do their own decentralized game? So that's going to be interesting there as well. Now, the other thing, of course, this game xgame.io potentially is going to have referrals, so that could make it very viral indeed. And that's probably something that Jacob could add into his mix as well, is getting these referrals on there too. So we'll be seeing first ever decentralized affiliate program for iGaming. Now, the funny thing about this is that we also know that Eric from TitanX is going to be doing referrals for one of the projects there. Let me just jump over there and remind myself, for Hydra, right? So Hydra was going to have a referral program, right? So that is pretty interesting with that regard. So kind of cool on that one. Now I'm going to post the link to this in the chat there so you guys can check it out. And there we go. Bam. It's a crash game. And so that's what we're expecting to see. And they're going to have a referral program. Interesting. See, we'll see where that can create a degree of virality. That will be interesting as well. And of course, we got SolidX here around about $7.88 at the moment. So it used to be at the highest at the beginning was in the first week was $240. So it's pretty crazy stuff now. So that was pretty interesting update from him. I hope you guys find that insightful, because I thought that was pretty cool. Now, he talked about, I want to pull out, so not only has he got this decentralized game coming and referrals affiliate program, but he also talked about the fact that he was very keen on PDai Maker, because they wanted the MakerDAO contract, or the PDai Maker theory, as we call it, to work. But he really was talking about we need a decentralized stablecoin. And that's why I talked about Jacob's PUSD ALGO all the time, right? So that is really the holy grail. We saw it working on Test Network about a year ago. It needs a oracle to operate, and therefore the Signum oracle coming up is going to be very important to that. Jacob's already got a stakeholding in that, so it's going to be what we need to go forward. So even though the Fetcher oracles came out like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks, he does need that to play. So we're going to expect an update there. We know that Jacob's also hired a team to develop a 2.0 version of PUSD ALGO, the ultimate algorithmic stablecoin. So I think that's going to be bullish as well. So we've got some cool stuff coming on Pulsechain. At the moment, people are kind of speculating on almost meme coins everywhere, but there is quality projects coming, and it would be nice to see the market shift into a bit better DeFi and GameFi oriented protocols. As we saw when Pulsechain launched, right? We had a whole array of quality DeFi and forks launch on Pulsechain. But for quite a long time now, the market's been buying, the PDai Maker Theory, or been buying meme coins one after another. So we're quite looking a lot more like Base Chain and Solana and that these days. So let's see if we can pick up a bit more quality projects. All right, so let's jump over to where we're heading here. So that, I think we covered a lot of these tokens. So at the moment, of course, there's some good pickups there. People obviously speculating on these pump.tire tokens, and of course also you can pick up some pretty good opportunities on like Wrap Bitcoin and things like that at the moment. Not bad. And of course the RH coins are all on discount, so pretty cool to accumulate those up as well. While the market is fearful, pick it up while it's fearful, right? Now this is PDai Maker, of course. This is PDai, and we can see that it's been pretty volatile. So down it goes, up it goes, down it goes, up it goes. Now this is Somi again, right? So this is probably Somi again, right? So Somi rallying the troops there, and you can actually see it bounced off here. 0.00165 is now up, almost back up to 0.2 of a penny. So people still believe. Now, what this means is it's still filling up liquidity in the two pools, right? There's the DAI pool, which we're looking at the moment, and the Pulse pool. So there's still like $700,000 worth of DAI of capital in there, at least. And of course, you can just see it just hit 0.2 of a penny there at the moment. So still heavy speculation on the PDai, regardless of the minting and dumping from the exploit. So there we go. We'll see whether this eventually runs down on the alley. Looking at the daily, we can see it still looks pretty bad, but we're at 0.2 of a penny, and we've seem to have bounced off 0.0063300 there at the bottom, and today the low has been 0.008,900. So we'll see how we get on there. That is the PDai. Now we had some pretty interesting videos here from a Grand Inquisitor, another PDai FUD killer. In this presentation, Maria stated that the P stables were checked for vulnerabilities or potential exploits. Does this imply that RH and Maria missed this even after openly promoting PDai and discussing its exploits that were fixed? So a little video there of James and Maria. We also got this one here. As far as I know, there are no risks that will have an effect to the whole ecosystem since January. 99.9% of exploitations we see are from the inside, which is a bit weird, right? So you can take from that what you will. Ding, ding, ding. Are you ready? Yeah. So, and then, of course, Brizology is posting some of the minting and dumping as well. So that was from the Grand Inquisitor. I'll leave a link to that in the chat there if you guys want to follow up on that. I know some of you guys are following this pretty closely. Genie Hexagon there with the 5555. Yeah, the good old Hex max stake. That's true. And that is the link to that one there. So we also got another post here from Richard Tra Tim. He's also got the Vietnamese guy's face on it. PDong, a $2. And here he goes. He's posting this step-by-step guide on how to use Rabby to drain Pulsechain liquidity via PDai. Only works apparently if you have 10 million PDai already. So I don't know. Is this a pump and dump? I don't know. You decide. So you first need to buy PDai via Pulsex using this contract, and so see you at zero, guys. So this is the idea here: enable contract data on Rabby, create your own make a DAO proxy, and then of course 3 open a new vault. Now who knows with that, but that's what he's posted. He's had 20,000 views on it, right? So who knows? Yeah, so it's pretty hilarious. Cheers, bro. Yeah, dude, I told you not to post our conversation. Stop doxing us. So lots of crazy stuff going on. So the whole PDIs is blowing up into its own big, conspiracy theory. There's people all over. So there'll be scammers in the mix, right? So you got to be careful out there. But I just want to show you the sort of stuff that's going on at the moment. Now, obviously, Somi has kind of been leading the charge on this, and I guess he's heavily involved with it, right? So you can decide on that. He's sort of pretty transparent with that stuff. I wonder who's buying PDI, even after Pulsechain founder Richard Hart said to sell it. Probably nobody. And he's got all his buyers in there, of course. And on we go there. Breaking PDI Twitter Spaces has 400 people in it compared to Charles Cux's 250. Pulsechain community mind share is growing big. So, he's got a huge following that's following him into this PDI, right? And so hence PDI is getting all these bounce backs in the charts, right? We've got all these bounce backs happening in the chart all the time. And then, of course, we got some other stuff here too. No rollbacks there, etc. So if PDai gets back to a 1 cent, then every Pulsechain coal must change their Twitter display picture to my pig, all the stuff that he does is comedy. Maria is bullish on PDai and doesn't believe in the Vietnamese dong fud. So people, obviously, the conspiracy is that the Vietnamese dong fud is just fake news. And so there's all this stuff. So, like I say, what seems like a fact ends up being part of the whole conspiracy and the I guess the fiction. And of course, you've got competing narratives. So it gets to the point where almost nobody knows what's going on, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So then you've just got to rely on the market and go with that. So in any case, typically good risk management means just avoid, right? Just avoid it, and like the plague, that's always the best thing to do, right? That way you're not up or down there. James Maria says, if we can identify any obstacles better, that will assist in removing them. If any hack were legit, we would see bridging out. And so that's the issue there. And we haven't seen particularly large bridging out. Of course, you could bridge out small amounts every day as well. Remember, Richard Hart posted those 4 accounts, particularly with the 559 account. And of course, said that was something like $4 million had been moving over. And yet I've seen other posts up to $8 million, over the last year or so. So pretty crazy there. I do not believe there is any Vietnamese scammer. That's from Maria, which is funny because it was James Maria that was the one that was selling PDai out through because he was afraid of the rug pull there. So who knows what's going on there. So that was from Somi. He's obviously been posting pretty profusely. He's got Eric Wall there posting around as well. Eric loves trolling, Pulsechain community. We got alert suspicious PDai wallet trades have been found by the Trump wallet. So official. So we've got all that in the mix now too. So we've got new players on the field, right? New players on the field of the PDai conspiracy wallet, which was buying Rich Hart's OA dumps, wallet 5953. Trump official wallet there, which holds Pulsechain coins, was selling most that's that pump ties one that everyone's been plowing into to buy PDai. Trump official has simultaneously dumped most. So that's the Richard Hart token that he was pumping. As rumored, Richard Hart OA bought most tokens. Remember, publicly, RHOA was dumping PDI to get into the most and made FUD Wave 5. So most was the second buy, right? The first buy was Pulsex, as we understand it. To add, the Trump official also sold INC to go buy more pump tokens here. Trump official now holds 186 million PDI. Bullish for PDI. While they're collecting, as Richard Fuds tweets it, believe in something. So he's trying to rally the troops behind the PDI and posting stuff like that. So you decide. But he's really leading the charge by himself now at the moment. Richard Hart's FUD waves for PDI have been making higher lows in the price action. FUD wave 3, 4, and 5. So there's his arguments here. And he's obviously got some sort of uptrend he's expecting here. So he is pretty much driving the market now, and in fact, is sort of pushing Richard Hart to one side and pushing PDI. Is that Somi is almost the main influencer driving markets at the moment on Pulsechain, which is pretty crazy as well. So we got a lot of stuff happening in terms of drama on Pulsechain. It's pretty crazy. Who do you believe, right? Who do you believe? Who's got invested stakes, right? Who's invested? What do you believe? These are all a big conspiracy. How far does the rabbit hole go, right? How far does the rabbit hole go? So he's been posting tons of stuff like this. And of course, he's talking about Maria just conveniently changed his mind. And again, and the Pulse Maker system is actually working fine. Planned FUD or genuine mishap there. So, playing on James Maria there. Now, James Maria, of course, the idea was that he was going to depeg or decouple from PDI and probably move into wrap Bitcoin. So we'll see how that goes as well. Pretty crazy. Like I say, when in doubt, keep out. And that's all I can say. And when in doubt, keep out there. All right. That is some of the stuff there. And we can actually see that PDI at the moment is still moving up almost to 2100th of a penny. And so people believing the leader there, Somi. We've got Valentine House there. Greetings. I'm so confused. What a wild ride. Who to believe? That's right. Yesterday it was kind of pretty clear, but then Somi's come out trying to match up all these different players' comments into a big narrative, right? And he's got quite a bit of influence there, garnering a lot of people on live streams, and apparently they believe. Couldn't RH just blacklist the scammer? He could, but it's kind of Pulsechain needs to stay free. It's supposed to be DeFi, right? And Brennan says, can one influencer move a chart over a founder? Well, Brennan, this is where we're at potentially, right? Because Richard's been gone for quite a while, and Somi's been, Somi, maybe Moon King, have been owning the space, right? Owning the space. So yeah, are we at that point? Are we seeing something new here? Are we seeing something new where on Pulsechain, which is really driven by Richard Hart, who is, probably the greatest crypto founder in crypto, whether you love him or like him, or if you agree with all his decisions and statements. I still think he garners that position, and he is the rebel crypto founder, if you think about it. But also, he's done, his market calls have been amazing. His price calls have been good. His market calls have been amazing. So yeah, it is. But now we're seeing these influencers like Somi, who've got to the point where their engagement is getting up there around what Richard used to have. I'm just trying to remember. Richard used to be out, like when Richard at his peak, he could garner 10, 20,000 people, I think, in live streams, right? So it's Somi's not up at that level yet, but he's certainly getting up 1,000 people in live streams. Then that's a pretty big influence, right? So it's a pretty big influence. And of course, you got Ming King out there too, who was also doing it. Right? They're like two generals on the field. Let's say Richard's the king, and they're two generals on the field. Well, are we getting a bit of a coup? Are we getting a bit of coup here going on? That's the questions. DGN Hexkin says we are DeFi and should not cannot have blacklist 100%. And I don't think Richard's into doing that here. He's a DeFi maxi. I sold PDai when RH tweeted. I trust RH. Yeah, it's probably the best way to go there as well. Obviously, there's always money to be made in trading, and we see a bit of that going on at the moment from the bottom there. From what I understand, there are whitelisted wallets on the protocol. So is that real DeFi? Well, I guess if you're doing it from the beginning, Valiant, it doesn't matter. But I think if you did it post the launch, then that would be a problem. I haven't actually seen a whitelisted wallets on the protocol. We went through, I think, the Genesis block and other stuff at the beginning. I don't remember anything like that. But hey, look, them maybe had some file on the GitHub that was linked up. I do not know. Hey, hello, everybody. Good to see Matt. Hope you're doing well, Matt. A big shout out, everybody. Hope everyone is having a good weekend. And yeah, the PDai drama continues. So after yesterday, what were we expecting? Just to sum things up, we were expecting the Atropa dev to decouple the Atropa from PDai as much as he could and move probably more into Wrap Bitcoin, which I think has predominantly Pulse. And of course, we may see other projects leaders also do that. They decouple from PDai. That's what you can do there. And of course, in terms of PDai itself, we're actually seeing liquidity go up. We're seeing people speculate on it, pushing it back up. And we don't see really repeated dumping from, I guess, RH holdings. And we don't see LP being pulled as well. So PDai survives, right? So PDI surviving with liquidity. It's still a moving asset, right? Still a moving asset, and we also see Somi, pushing everything into a price goes up narrative, right? So all the information that comes out, he's pushing into a price goes up narrative, and so it doesn't matter who it is, yeah. And Matt says PDI to $1. Yeah, well, that's right. So that's the narrative that's still in play, and at the moment, it's a long way away from that, but of course you can market that, right? 700x, 1000x, whatever it's going to be. And to a moon to $1, right? So yeah, PDI to $1. That's still in play. All right, so we got the Raiders doing well, mate. Oh, that's good to hear, Brendan. I'm glad for you. Wookie was trying to play that down, I think, yesterday. Wookie's at the golf finals today. He's at the golf finals. That's why he's not in the chat. He's doing his final game. But yeah, 0.2 of a penny. Let's see where it goes. It's got a little bit of a weird, wonky W formation, but not really true. It's amazing where we can find things and patterns that don't really look like that. So that's the hourly chart. Let's have a look at a 4-hourly chart. 4-hourly chart there, a little bit wonky as well. Let me auto that as well because it's a bit weird. So that is the 4-hourly there. So we're kind of in the midpoint of what we've been there for quite a bit of time. And looking at the daily on PDai, still looking pretty bad there, but certainly bounced off the bottom ranges here, and we shall see. So the charts can run out of steam, though, right? The charts, it's got a lot of action, a lot of attention, a lot of focus right now. But if it's not sustained, and typically most tokens don't sustain it, then we can see things drop off, right? So that's the risk. That's the risk there. Matt says, "I'm hoping, Superman. I believe it's the best narrative in crypto and one that we would all benefit from." Says Matt. Indeed, I wish you luck there, Matt. Go the Raiders, says Matt. Yeah, that's true. All right, so let's jump over. So that's kind of some of the stuff that we're going to come back to a little bit, but we just teased on that. There's a lot of content out on X, obviously, from people with their different theories. But seeing James Maria sort of coming back there about the Vietnamese Kong. Now that's anybody can make up stuff. So yeah, we do have videos, but all can be put together. That's for sure. Valiant says, "Can't believe some random kid in Vietnam beat RH." That's right. So that was kind of the funny thing yesterday. We played the videos, of course, of the so-called Vietnamese guy doing that. Was it they call him P Dong? Aren't they P Dong? Which is kind of funny, but we'll see. We'll see there. And of course, it all seemed a little bit far-fetched, right? So suddenly, some random guy from Vietnam. Just seems pretty random. I don't know. Vietnam's getting pretty modern now, so there's probably a lot of pretty clever coders over there, but it still seems a bit left field, doesn't it? So, but we're in a globalized world. Who knows? Who knows? We got North Korean hackers, for goodness sake, stealing $1.5 billion. So that's not out of the ballpark, is it? Not out of the ballpark at all. Any updates from 99? I don't know. We'll have a check on 99, shall we? Shall we do that? Let me check 99 actually. Let's see if he's got anything good to say, because actually his stuff is actually evidence based, and I like 99 from that point of view. So whereas a lot of this other stuff is 99. Hopefully I've got I don't know what that is. What the heck is that? Sorry, let me not sure. Oh, where am I going here? Sorry, my bad. I'm not sure if I've got his 99 capital, is it? Not sure if that's going to come up, to be honest. Sorry, my bad. I don't know if I've even got him saved. I must have him saved, surely. PDai to $1, that's related to him, but it's not the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, one of the benefits, like Trayvon's pointing out here, is the amount of pulse that's been burned since PDai debacle started, burning nearly $100,000 a day. So, there's a global benefit there, right? Global benefit, all this activity. And that's what I said about Pulsechain, right? The burn was going so fast, right? So it's pretty crazy there. Trump, what else? There was scroll through that stuff we already looked at. 99s. What's this guy got to say? DGM Protocol Daily Update. I don't know. But yeah, where is these? I've got this. Yeah, I'd have to look through on my followings. Let me have a look at that. So they're probably following him there. That's a bit easier to find. This is a new account, right? So just started following a few people there. Let's scroll down here. Hopefully it's going to show up on the list. It's a fine list of following some fine people there. Is that 99? There it is. Hey, welcome there. I like the fact that Richard Hart's on the dollar there, the PDI to $1. That's on the dollar there. And let's scroll down here. 20 hours ago. No, 20 hours ago was the last time you really did something there. So, if RH can't kill PDI, does that mean we are immutable, anti-fragile, sufficiently decentralized? Asking for a friend. And then he goes, friends, Sky, ecosystem, and MakerDAO. Have you seen the commotion on Pulsechain? Check your wallet for a free copy of Maker on Pulsechain and help us vote through a governance change. We need 46,000 tokens to pass a resolution. Telegram me on that. So it's about the only thing that we've seen there recently. When do the flop auctions happen? So we were expecting the auctions to happen, I think, once the deficits are repaid, right? So that was supposed to be on Friday, and now it's pushed out another 3 or 4 days. Last time we had an update from 99. So flop auctions, who knows? I don't see many comments there. Most of those comments are just not helpful. So the flop auctions, of course, just getting back to the PDI maker theory, we've got this VAT, right? And then we've got the flop auctions over here in this blue box. And that's kind of what we're expecting to start, right? That was one step further to so-called collateralization. Now, many people mocked the idea that Richard Hart, of course, was going to over-collateralize the P maker, which and then just allow people to sort of sell out through there with their PDI. But I mean, there's probably certain ways that he could probably do that and make it work. So we shall see. I mean, Peter Maker works right on Ethereum. Matt says, I went to Vietnam and about friendly with my PDai. Looks like you've been drinking there, Matt. Can't read half those words. Valiant says, smart people in Vietnam for sure, but seems like he would have to be an insider dev to do this. That's right. And this is what James Maria said, that most exploits that you normally have are insider jobs, right? And so therefore is the whole theory of, because it just seemed I mean, it can be done, but it just seemed pretty unlikely. The other thing is, if it just depends, you just how big do you want to build up a case of conspiracy to get the outcome you want, right? To build up the fact that it's going to be going. Sharknado says RETH is showing some action, says Sharknado. Yeah, well, that was what was in PDai Maxi's comment, right? So he was talking about that. I didn't finish reading that, but it's a lot easier to poke the RETH Oracle than you own a Richard Hart than to jawbone PDai to zero. So yeah, then we got KDP coming in. So KDP coming in. What is wrong with you? The exploit can't be stopped. Stop mucking around, getting people wrecked. You're being pure trash with this moment on. There's a reason you remained anonymous. Hi, friend. You know as well as I do that if what you say is true, Pulsechain and everything on it dies. These wallets own every P token on it. And this exploit can be fixed. Help us get the P maker tokens we need to stop it instead of trying to scare everybody. Be the solution. So that is what's going on there. And therefore, as you're pointing out, Sharknado, that looks like there's our ETH move on the move there. I don't know if I have that on the list, so let's have a look. ETH. I used to have a fine list of all these tokens. Do you guys remember that? But then Deck Screener just keeps deleting it, and it's so annoying. So yeah, so I did notice Rocket Pool was rallying yesterday, and so that's no surprise. So we've got the hourly chart here on our ETH. So Rocket Pool was doing pretty well, and then it's $2.30 now. So yeah, it's a bit of nice little upwards there. Man, it had a big spike. There's only hours. There's an hourly chart, and it had a big spike all the way up to $4.60. That was back at 20 hours. I wonder if that's the same time as he put this post out here, 3 o'clock. Was it yesterday? So 3 o'clock yesterday. So that was 2 hours. That was 22 hours ago. I don't think this chart is 22 hours ago. So yeah, that's after that. So 22 hours ago would be here. So this rally, this moved about 6 or 7 hours later. Interestingly enough, so it's pretty interesting that moved at that time. And then of course we've got now $2.39 on our ETH. So people, yeah, you got to get used to these protocols because they've got all these ownership type tokens, derivative tokens that got R's in front or A's in front of them, things like that. So there's a whole community. I used to have a beautiful list of them too. Damn it, put that up. Hey, thanks for Sharknado. That was good. Sorry, no, lol. I bought fried rice with my PDai. Oh, right, fried rice. Yeah. Well, I love fried rice. Who doesn't like fried rice? Right? Who doesn't like fried rice? I'm drinking. Says Hexaware. Nice. Good on you, monkey. That's nothing new, monkey, says Brennan. Anyone here buy the P-Dong? Right. So buying the pump tires FOMO. Let me see. Let me go back to that again. And so yeah, a P-Dong there doing pretty well. I actually had a token I was going to launch on pump tires for that, but mine was even funnier than P-Dong. And maybe I should launch it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. Brennan's in the house there. Nice. Valiant says, glad I got on board with PUSD ALGO as the backup plan, 100%. And that's what I keep saying. If you want certainty, right, you want something that's scalable as well, then PUSD ALGO is the solution coming to Pulsechain. And we know it's going to be a solid peg protocol based on the testnet. Now, obviously, it's still, still experimental like most of crypto, but it did work extremely well on the testnet live on Pulsechain. So yeah, go super launch it. Yeah, the token. Yeah. I might do that after the live stream. So yeah, we'll see. You've just got to graduate. Apparently you got to graduate to the king of the hill or whatever it is over on Pump Tires, and then once it gets there, it then gets pushed to PulseX. And then typically a lot of people would like dumping these coins straight away, but we'll see. Maybe it might pump. All right. So yeah, let's see. The P Dong is rolling the loose at the moment. Launch Super Dong, says Brennan. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you the name, Brennan, in Discord after the show and tell you what I actually had in mind. Lol, says Matt. Yeah. Send me one, I'll send you two, says Matt. Yeah, that's right. Well, I'll talk about it in Discord when we get in there. So, yeah. If you guys haven't joined Discord, by the way, the link's in the video description. Become part of our community. It's only $12.50 a month, so it's a really good value. You get we talk about crypto, obviously Pulsechain crypto and all that every day. Get in there, and of course, there's a great bunch of people, and we have all the information in there as well, including the Oni help desk as well. We have a Q&A for crypto. No one else has that, man. No one else has that. And so get in on that one. And a big shout out to Brian, of course, our community leader, and Wookie, who's not here today. He's playing golf. And all the moderators, of course, do a great job as well. Brendan's one of those. So big shout out to all of our team in the Discord. Yeah, and if you want to join our strategy club, it's only $35 a month, and get on that too. We pass intel through there all the time. So join up to that. Links in the video description. And also soft launched a crypto course, so it's in there as well. That's from beginners to intermediates to advanced. And it's a really great way of getting your head around all the crypto terminology. Brian says, I am drinking too. Yeah. You got to send us a beer, create a beer there, Brian. I don't know. I can't remember what you're drinking, but it always sounds good. Send me one and I'll send you three, says Brian. Yeah, nice. Valiant says, a Superman token. Well, you just don't know, Valiant. That's definitely been on the cards. And I heard a couple ideas about that. I actually have a big idea about that at the moment, and I might be talking to Brenton about that. So I'm going to talk to you about potentially the launching something like akin to a Superman token. So, but it's got to add value, right? So that's the thing. I'm not just going to launch any sort of meme token. I want to launch something that actually has some value there. And I got an idea about that yesterday, so that was kind of cool. I've had a couple ideas around it, but I think maybe the one I had yesterday is probably the best one. Brian, yeah, Matt saying hello, Brian, and Brennan's laughing his head off about that. So yeah, so we got a pump dot tires and possibly a Superman token. We'll talk about that. So that is in the play. That is in the play. So this is the market. And so we got some big news out of SolidX. We got the Troper now. Is he going to decouple, or is he going to stay the course with PDai? So that's sort of what we're tuning up there. We got Somi there pumping PDai to the moon, and so we'll see where it all lands. That is where we that's where we're at the moment. Now, I quickly wanted to talk about we also I quickly want to talk about TitanX because obviously we do updates about that every day. Now, Jake Sharp has come out of the woodwork. He's been away for about 2 months, for goodness sake, and he forgot all about the principle of marketing. But he's been building. So I mean, he's 50% the way there, right? 50%. With Pulse Rewards, Superman, please no claim needed. Remember, yeah, right, Matt, I like that. Well, we'll take that into account. Nice, keen to hear, says Brennan. Hey, it'll be fun. We'll talk about that. We got TitanX. Got TitanX at the moment, so it's sitting down 4% today. So it's not too bad today. Normally we used to double digits, right? Has had a couple of green days this in the last week, so it's sort of there, but it's kind of in the bottom range now. Rather than continuing to go down, it's kind of in the bottom range. So let's have a quick look at TitanX. We didn't get any big hurrah from Jake Sharp once he came out of the woodwork. Obviously, he's been working on Omnichain and things like that, and here we are with the chart. So it's a pretty ugly looking chart, as we can see, but the difference is that it's got the buy and burn collateral, right? So that's the difference with this chart. Let's have a look at the ETH ratio and look at that. So the ETH ratio is sitting at 10 zeros, 870. So that the ETH ratio looks a bit better than the price chart, right? Because the ETH ratio was way down here at 10 zeros, 5,000. We're now at 10 zeros, 8,700. Almost got to, we got to about 9,300 there overnight. So that's kind of as far as we got there. So we're in a kind of a sideways channel here. We need to beat out this 9 zeros 1,000. We need to get over that. That's the first test because we've got to go higher high here, don't we? So we've had lower highs, and we need to get a higher high just to start to give a bit of confidence in the market and start seeing that push back up slowly and surely to maybe zigzag a little bit here and then slowly start running up for that wave 3. So the wave 3 just can take a little bit longer to get to. What are the two catalysts? The two main catalysts. The buy and burn collateral, and number 2 is the Omnichain strategy. So those are the two big things, and they're full of omni-chain strategies, full of all the projects and stuff like that. So that's kind of where we are. And I guess there's a third, right? The third is Bitcoin and altcoin season runs, right? So we finally get to that as well. So those are the fun 3 big catalysts there. And incorporated in the omni-chain, it's not just moving to base chain and other chains, but also the tokenomics, right? Some of the projects have particularly good tokenomics, so we're going to watch that too. Now, DragonX, of course, it's pretty flat today, and the important thing, DragonX is up overnight. So the DragonX ratio has gone to 706, so that's actually gone up, so that's good news. X28 is pretty much holding the ratio, 0.91. Now, what we need to do is get that to flip. We need to get that above 1-to-1 because that will then put TitanX through X28 and start burning TitanX, right? So we need that. What do we need? We need catalysts. We need on-chain X28 projects and omni-chain, in other words, base chain projects as well. So they're coming, but they're not here yet, right? Shogun also was going omni-chain. No real change there. Hydra and Hyper, of course, have the buy and burns turned off. So TitanX, DragonX, Hyper, and Hydra all burned off. The minting's essentially out for all of these. So it's when it runs, it's going to run pretty amazing. But at the moment, it's kind of a buyer's market. Pick it up while you can. Buy low. That's kind of the play. Vault, of course, Stevie D's holding off on all that. He's actually got Thunder Staking ready, but he's not launched it yet. Obviously, Ouroboros is coming up, and of course, Bitcoin Genie is probably pretty much ready as well. I mean, he keeps extending so-called audits, but that must have been done by now. So yeah, that's all just sitting on silent. He's just waiting for the right time for that. And meanwhile, the auction keeps going and Vault keeps burning off. Inferno's going omni-chain, right? So we just had a project launch on Inferno, and that's just launched. So that is the it's probably down here somewhere. Probably these ones, right? The B88 and the S88, which I haven't really looked at the white paper, but they've both launched there as well. So I don't actually know what those are. But we also had the other project. Where's it gone? There was another project for that. I've forgotten that now. Where has it gone? No, I can't see it. But Flare, that's the one there, Flare. So that they're launched. So it's been around for 2 days. No metrics in here for some reason, but that has been around. That just launched. And what else are we going to say about that? So that's Inferno. Morpheus, we're waiting for stuff from Brandon around V3 Dexes, and that's up about 3%. I see that Flux is actually up 22%, so nice little move there on Flux, going against the trend there. And what else there? Baby Dragon X going to Omni-Chain, that's coming up. And of course, both Tink there, down 1.7%. Now that's from Eric from Dragon X, so we'll look for some stuff to happen with Tink. Element 280 is going over to Omni-Chain with Baby Dragon X, down 17% tomorrow. But actually, I think coming up in the next 24 hours, we've got the big buy and burn coming on for Uranus. So they're all going to be paired up. So Uranus is going to be looking pretty good. It's up 17.7% at the moment. It's almost at 3x. So I did promote this one pretty full on, Uranus, and it has ended up being a winner. And so that is a 3x on the X ratio. So congratulations to people on that. And the buy and burn may have started. Let's have a quick look. It's supposed to be Sunday, right? So it's Sunday New Zealand time, but I think it's Sunday US time. Let's have a look at the buy and burn, see if we can see if that's activated now. No, it's not activated yet. So it's still $153 there. So I see. Is that activated? I don't think that has. Next buy and burn 153. Let's have a quick look at that Uranus chart. How am I doing for time? 1 hour. So we'll probably wrap up here. Oh, it looks like maybe they've turned the buy and burn on now. At least they're buying. Someone's start buying in here. This is on the daily chart. So let's have a look at an hour chart. So yeah, we had quite a bit of a move up here. We actually got up pretty high. We got up to 53. Just got sold down here by somebody. Remember, there's a 12% tax, 10% reflections. So even when the market's trading like that, you're getting some good buys. So yeah, here's the ratios. The ratio actually got up to 3.5, almost 3.45, and this got pushed down to 2.9. So someone decided to take some profits here, basically. They thought, oh, that's a nice little decent move. I'll take profits there on that 3x. So it looks like what's happening here. So that's kind of cool. That's where we are. And of course, we had these 2 new projects launched. These ones here, B88 and S88, and I'm not sure what they are. So we might cover that again in another show, maybe tomorrow. And let's see, we've got Bitcoin Genie coming up, and we've got Taurus coming up, and Vibermex as well. So plenty of stuff on the roadmap there. And who knows what Jake Sharp's going to come out with, or Eric from DragonX. Who knows? Could be a lot of fun. All right, how we doing? We're doing pretty well. That is on TitanX. That's kind of our wrap up there. And Uranus burn party ticking away there. So not bad. We'll look forward to seeing that pump the chart as well. Should we have one more look at PDai? Should we do it? Should we do it? Let's go to GoPulse and look at it from there. Let's have a look at GoPulse and see what is actually doing well there. So the worst one is PDai down the bottom here on the fork coins. The best one is pretty much wrapped ETH there. We see that our ETH is moving at the moment, and I do like a wrap Bitcoin. So I do like wrap Bitcoin. So have a quick look at wrap Bitcoin first. I think this is the best one out of all those forks. And let's have a look here. Yeah, so down at $200 at the moment, but there could be a 10x in it for the patient. And if Bitcoin does hyper rally into that 150 250K, then this could hyper rally as well. So there could be mad gains. Just got to sit on it. That's it, pretty much it. All right, let's go back to PDai and pick up PDai as well. I'm sort of cheating here with the old GoPulse charts, but let's have a look. And we can see that we're back at 0.2 of a penny. So let's have a look at the hourly chart. Yeah, we're back at 0.2 of a penny. Tried to make it a bit higher. Let's see whether this continue the uptrend. A natural sort of point here is 0.3 of a penny. Went to it. That's the last high it had. It's already back at the previous high, 0.2. So can it do the 0.3 of a penny? Let's see. I think that probably best for the chain is that it was abandoned and that they move away from this move the liquidity back into other assets and decouple this. But we'll see whether the liquidity's pulled, Richard Hart dumps it, or we see further decoupling. The only really definitive decoupling we've seen so far is coming from the fire whale, right? So that's pretty much it so far. We'll see how that continues. That's the going to unfolding drama here on a Pulsechain. And meanwhile, the Richard Hart tokens are all on discount sale. So there we go. Buy when there's fear on the streets. Matt says, with Pulse rewards, Superman, please no claim. Yeah, I think I read that one. That was funny. We need a super pump launch, says Hexfat. I agree with you on that. All right, don't forget, if you guys have enjoyed this content, I'll be probably streaming again later on today. We'll see whether it's crypto or whether it's politics or something. But apart from that, thanks everyone for watching. The conspiracy continues with PDai. Just when you think it's over, it gets extended. And of course, there are a number of players on the field. So we got Somni out there. We got Moon King probably bought back into PDai. I find he probably did. And we've got who else? We've got James Murray out there. We've got Fire Whale now. He's a new entrant on the field. And of course, we may see others as well. Is Richard off the field now? Is he off the field? That's a question. If you haven't joined our Discord, jump in there. Links in the video description. If you want to get into PUSD ALGO and get a 19% bonus, and if you do up to $1,000, inclusive of the referral bonus, you will then get access to the double X bonus, so bonus X up to 2X bonus. And of course, that is going to be the true ultimate algorithmic stablecoin on Pulsechain, the very first one that we have. So very, very cool. Anything that's not pegged to $1 is a speculative stablecoin, right? Anything. There are a couple out there on Pulsechain at the moment, not just PDai. And of course, they're all a fraction of $1. But PUSD will be $1. And we saw that on the test version because that's how the miner bots work. It's a full DeFi solution, not centralized. So remember that. All right. So hope you guys have enjoyed it, and take care, everybody. I'm going to post Brian's link here. I guess that's going to the Discord. Yeah, there we go. Bam. All right. Join up today. See you in the chat. I'm going to be there next. All right. Take care and enjoy your weekend. Bye for now, is what we say. And of course, some people might say PDai to $1. I say Pulsechain to the moon. How about that? Pulsechain to the moon. Look after, chase quality, and you'll be pretty happy. Chase speculative stuff that's really crazy. You can always end up getting burned. So just be careful out there. Look for the quality stuff. That's all I can say. And of course, that's what we do in the Crypto Strategy Club. So join up to that today as well. All right, bye for now.